Hi, it's Gene Perry with Century Farm. I get asked about some of the things I did before I began working with horses, and as a lot of you know, I was a bush pilot for about 35 years and did some pretty strange things out there. I think one of the wildest jobs I ever had was trying to string a power line. And with a little bitty helicopter, we were in what's called the Kufui Gorge in Zambia. This is in Africa. And we had to try to string a power line, and there's this deep cliff and deep gorge in there, and it was full of crocodiles. And I mean, we'd launched the day before and taken off from a landing spot beside the river, and I happened to look over and I could see the nose of a giant crocodile, and I asked my mechanic, I said, Wally, how long is that thing? Well, he leaned out the door of our little Bell 47, and he said, well, it goes all the way back to the tail rotor back there. As we hovered over that water, well, the Bell 47 is 47 feet long. That thing was so huge, I could have landed crosswise and had him tow me on it. So they had big crocs in this river, okay? So we go up and they said, we want you to string a wire. Now, we know your helicopter's a small one. It won't pull all this big, heavy electrical cable, the half mile we need strung out there. So we're going to take just a little piece of lead wire, right? Well, that seemed pretty reasonable. And we're up on a high cliff, and we were going to go over to one of the big power line towers that was on the other side, and it was down below us a little bit. So it seemed pretty easy. So we hook onto this thing, and I had never strung line in my life. I didn't know what it was going to be. So I picked that helicopter up, and I'm hovering up there, and I start bringing it across. And they had it all neatly piled up there so I could pull it out there and just a little bit at a time and not have anything heavy. Well, we get out and well over that croc-filled stream down below that gorge and all that rushing water, and pretty soon the rope starts to sag, or the wire starts sagging down. Pretty soon more of it's sagging down. Pretty soon it takes off, and the whole stuff is coming unspun from up the top and running down to the bottom of the gorge, and it's getting heavier and heavier. Oh my gosh. So me and Wally and he's going along to watch for me, and I'm dragging this thing on over. But by golly, we made it. We got on the other side, dragging all this heavy stuff up. On those towers, they have big rollers, and I have to hover this thing and drag it and watch and hang out the door and look. And I got to drag this wire, and actually it was a little bigger than the wire, as it turned out. And I got to put it on this roller, pull it through, and then when I put enough pressure on it, it will lock down and lock it in place. So I'm pulling and I'm pulling and I'm pulling. I managed to get it on the wheel, and due to superior skill, and I got it in and clamped, and it locked. And that was wonderful. Our job was done. So I punched the electrical switch, and nothing happened. And I look at Wally, and Wally looks at me, and I said, Wally, it didn't. And I keep punching, and it's my cargo hook is not opening to drop that off. And I had visions, we're going to have to sit here and hover until we run out of gas, and then we're going to dangle all the way down just above that water and have those crocs snapping up at us as we, oh my gosh. And I'm thinking, how am I can't let go of the controls. I look over, and Wally is gone. Little short mechanic, little tiny guy, and he obviously has fallen out of the helicopter. Wally! And then I look down, and here's a little tiny hand hanging onto the floorboard. Wally has swung out of the helicopter, hanging on by one hand, and it's got a machete in the other, and he's hacking away under this thing while I'm holding it in the hover. And finally, this other hand, the machete comes flying back and twang, and his head comes, we're free. Oh my gosh. We flew back on, and so I turned the ship and started back up towards the cliff on the other side. I could see everybody jumping up and down, throwing their hats in the air. That's how I do, boys. I wanted to get out and punch them. I was going to feed them to the crocs out there, putting me on a little line out there. But we made it. It was another one of those hair-raising adventures as a bush pilot in East Africa. Bless your hearts, Gene Perry, Century Farm. You come see us. We're horsing around is okay. Bye-bye.